As Human Trafficking Prevention Month, January is dedicated to raising awareness about this multi-billion-dollar criminal industry that impacts people around the world, including right here in Oakland County. Traffickers use violence, threats, deception, and other manipulative tactics to force people to engage in commercial sex or to provide labor or services against their will. To identify traffickers and support victims, the board established the Human Trafficking Prevention Task Force in 2015, which is comprised of representatives of the Prosecutor's Office, the Sheriff's Office, and the Health Division, as well as Commissioners Karen Joliet, David T. Woodward, Michael Spiz, and Lenny Taylor. Its current chair is Commissioner William Miller. How has his leadership shaped the task force?
Since I've been chair, it was the first time since we were able to fund through the prosecutor's office and the sheriff's office to have people on staff, and we have a department where that's their sole job, is to make sure that this program runs, that they're catching the predators, that they're prosecuting them, and then we're getting more people involved, like hiring another prosecutor.
My name is Cindy Brown. I am the chief of the trafficking unit at the Oakland County Prosecutor's Office. I am the representative assigned to the Commissioner's Human Trafficking Prevention Task Force, the representative from the Prosecutor's Office. I update the Commissioner's Task Force on how many new cases we have, issues we're seeing, maybe some additional resources we might need. In addition to me, Sergeant Miles from the Sheriff's Office, who runs the investigative task force, he gives updates to the commissioners as well. So we basically are the line of communication between the commissioners and the prosecution of traffickers in Oakland County.
What were some of the task force's main accomplishments in 2025, and what is the impact?
I think that the Commissioner's Task Force made tremendous strides in prosecuting human trafficking in Oakland County, identifying victims and providing resources. We just could not adequately and appropriately address the cases with the extent of the time that these cases entail. These cases are by far the most challenging and complex cases I've ever had. Not only are we dealing with severely traumatized victims, but we're dealing with the fear that comes with that. We're dealing with the volume of discovery that's involved with it. I have one case alone that has 29 cell phones.
Stuff that we have been catching is actually people trafficking women. The work that we've been doing in that world is echoed because Johns, they call them, they're actually moving out to different cities because they're like, oh, Oakland County, we're getting caught.
What are some of the task force's goals in 2026?
But what I would like to see is focusing on additional training for law enforcement and medical personnel, because we did a training in November of 2024, and the impact of that training was indescribable. Having people come up to us when it was done saying, all these years I was in law enforcement, I didn't know what was right in front of me. So it's imperative that we do training across the county, not just for law enforcement, for teachers, for medical personnel, anybody who's just open to the public, people who work at hotels, anybody who can potentially encounter a victim, which is all of us.
So education is key to understanding the signs of human trafficking. What are some common misperceptions about the crime in Oakland County? What should residents know?
I'd want them to know it is happening everywhere.
A lot of people may say it doesn't happen in where I live. It happens everywhere. Whether the trafficking itself is occurring in the various locations around Oakland County, we have victims that have come from all over the county, from West Bloomfield, from Clarkston, from Orion. It also cuts across multiple crimes. So when we're talking about human trafficking, we have sexual assaults that come from that, armed robberies, retail frauds, drug trafficking. All of these are part of it, and it impacts every jurisdiction within the county and in different ways perhaps, but it cuts across the entire county.
As important as identifying and stopping traffickers is providing support for the victims.
Every victim that I've worked with has impacted me in a different way. I think the most important thing is that every case we have, we're learning from it. We're learning additional ways that traffickers are trying to avoid law enforcement detection. We're learning different ways to interact with victims, to locate victims, to communicate with them. To understand the trauma that is associated with the trafficking that they've endured. Every single one of the victims that we've had did not want to be there. They did not want to be trafficked. Not one of these victims is saying, I'm choosing to do this.
You never want this to happen. And if it is happening, you want to stop it and get the proper help, which I do appreciate. That's one thing that we do. We do the wraparound service. Because people look at it as we caught the trafficker. They don't think about the victim. And the victim gets left behind. And we want to make sure that they're taken care of.
If you have information about incidents of human trafficking in the county, reach out to the Human Trafficking Unit using Oakland County's dedicated tip line at 248-858-0411 or email humantraffickingpreventiontips@oakgov.com. And you can always learn more at our website, oakgov.com.